I'm at a conference today and I made the mistake of attending a panel on establishing AI policies. And look, I hear you. Looking at the sentence just now as I wrote it, it's laughable that I did that to myself. Why would I go to that panel? Surely I have discovered some heretofore unplumbed well of inchoate self loathing. But I did go, and I think if there was video of me in this panel, you would have seen me melt like a spring snowman. Because what felt to me like the baseline assumption that should undergird any conversation about how to build policy about AI, or about anything else for that matter, was immediately set aside. Let me show you. The language the presenter used in the moment is stronger than the language on the slide. As I recall it, what he said was AI is already here, so we can't ask the question, should we allow AI in the college? Rather, the question is, how do we build a policy for ethical and responsible use of AI? And I do understand the reasoning. The cat is out of the bag. It's already happening. It's a foregone conclusion. People are already doing it, therefore we must accept it. But, like, consider, say, for the sake of argument, all of a sudden students started dueling. Maybe one of the students who plays Magic the Gathering in the cafeteria for 9 hours a day finally snaps and they head out to the quad to resolve the conflict with pistols at high noon. And, never to be one upped, the drama students, okay, the rest of the drama students, the magic player slash drama student Venn diagram definitely has significant overlap, decide to choose the spring play using sabers at dawn. And then some of the professors even get in on it, and now there's been a number of curriculum disagreements resolved by a fight to the death. How should the college respond? People are already dueling to the death on campus. The cat is out of the bag. We can't ask the question, should we allow duels to the death? The question is, how do we build a policy for ethical and responsible duels to the death? Now, I'm not equating the use of AI with doing murder, but the logic applied is exactly the same, right? It's happening already, therefore it must be acceptable. But this is, in my estimation, a categorically ding-donginist position. People do lots of things that shouldn't be allowed. Teenagers already smoke, so we can't regulate teenage smoking. We're already using leaded gasoline, we can't ban it now. You can buy lawn darts at any toy store. It's too late to stop them. Literally, any time we have made a policy against something, it is because that something has already become commonplace, and we've realized that it's bad. That's why we regulate things. Now, in this specific moment, I'm not going to make the case that we shouldn't allow AI in education whatsoever. I've made that case in 2 different hour-long unhinged videos already, and I probably will continue to make that case on this channel. But for the moment, I simply want to draw attention to the fact that just because we're already doing something doesn't mean that we have to continue to do it. We can be doing things wrong. We can be wrong about things. We can admit that we have been wrong about things, and we can change course. Here's an example. We, meaning specifically English professors, have historically been very wrong about who is capable of succeeding in our transfer level classes. For years, we relied on placement tests to figure out who would succeed in those classes. Based on how students did on those tests, they were either placed directly into the class where they earned college credit, or they were placed 1 or 2 or 3, or at some colleges even 4 or 5 levels below that transfer level class. And because ostensibly data matters, we did validation studies to ensure our students were being placed correctly. We asked our students, we asked our teachers, and all of our survey data said that students and faculty were confident that yes, students were being placed correctly. Now, mind you, some students were taking 3 units of English and others were taking like 20 before they were able to graduate, but never mind, the test is how we did things. But alas, facts exist. And after a truly enormous study that examined outcomes for something on the order of 200,000 students, it turns out that placement tests are absolute ass at predicting who will succeed in transfer level English. When we did the actual research and actually looked at which students succeeded in transfer level English and what the best predictors of success were, we found out that placement tests meant more or less nothing. We had been wrong. And because we were wrong, we made a shitload of students take a ton of extra units when the evidence suggests that probably they would have succeeded at transfer level English if we had just let them try. This slide could absolutely have said placement tests, and it would have been perfectly accurate. Placement tests were everywhere. The cat was out of the bag on the order of many decades, but it turns out we were wrong. And in my state, a new law was passed that required us to get rid of placement tests. And you know what? We fucking did it. We did it. We figured out that we were wrong and we changed course, even though we had to remake a lot of major systems from the ground up to do it. It is true that AI is everywhere in education, but it doesn't follow that it is therefore inescapable. It doesn't follow that we shouldn't talk about whether it should be there. It is true that the fungus of AI has burrowed deep into our infrastructure, but that doesn't mean that we shouldn't try to extract it. To assume that because it is here we must accept it is to abdicate our responsibility as educators to consider what is best for our students. We should not close off the discussion of the possibility that AI is bad for education simply because AI is already here. When we talk about developing policies for ethical or responsible use of AI, we are presuming that there is such a thing. And I personally don't think that there is. But I'm not the queen of Fancy Pants Island. I am just as capable of being wrong as anyone else. Probably more so if you ask the folks on my Patreon Discord. And plenty of people in the Academy disagree with me. I am not saying I have to be right. What I am saying is that we should not define the boundaries of the conversation about AI around the unsupported assumption that responsible, ethical use of AI in education exists. We should not define the boundaries of that conversation to exclude those of us who want to present evidence-based arguments that AI is intrinsically, inescapably anti-education. There are, after all, no ethical, responsible duels to the death. And crucially, we can have more than one conversation about AI at a time. We can talk about harm reduction strategies for how to deal with what is already here, while at the same time having thoughtful conversations as to whether or not there is a place in education for AI at all. We've banned dueling, we've regulated smoking, we've eliminated leaded gasoline, we don't sell lawn darts anymore, and we have gotten rid of placement tests. Just because we've let something happen doesn't mean we can't change course. And we absolutely still can talk about whether or not we should. Between things like this panel, comments on my past videos, and conversations I've had with my friends, I keep running into specific points people make like this that are, I think, missing something. I want to speak to those specific points, but I don't super duper want to spend another year making another deeply bonkers video about AI. So I'm thinking maybe I make a bunch of these little short guys with lower time investment just to speak to those points in isolation. Probably there'll be a few more of these, which will enable me to spend a year making another deeply bonkers video essay about something else entirely. Lawnmower colonialism is the one that's brewing right now. Lawnmower colonialism. Lawnmower colonialism.